Cesar Keller with Simple Flame is with us again. And Cesar, we had a great conversation about brand personas and what they are and why it's important to develop them. But let's ask this question now. How do you develop a brand persona? What steps do you go through to do that?
Sure. So I'll outline them, and then we can just talk about them back and forth. The first is you got to break down the people that buy from you, whether it's a customer that believes in service or products.
Okay.
You just got to break them down into logical groups. It doesn't have to be difficult. But the question is always asked at networking events, like, who's your ideal customer? Well, it's very hard to say I have the perfect one person. There might be 4 or 5 or however many people that buy from you.
Yeah.
So just breaking those things down into that logical common sense will really help you out.
And they may have some real distinct differences, and that's the whole point, is finding differentiation within your customer base.
Sure. The second piece is basically thinking about their pain.
Okay.
These people have different pains, so how do we solve those pains for all of them? And then once you get deeper from there is you got to create names for them. You got to remember these people. This is not something that you write notes on and then you refer to and you need a cheat sheet for. This is, we've identified the names. Let's remember these people because these are people. And let's always keep them in our forethoughts. Let's always keep them in mind when we're making decisions that will relate to them. And the last piece is if you've done all the 3 steps above that, how can you ensure that when you write marketing material or you're producing promotions or any kind of copy that these personas are going to engage with, make sure that you're writing for them. Because you've taken the time to understand them and organize them and remember them. So now it's time to talk to them through that perspective.
Okay, so let's highlight those again and then break them down a little bit further.
Sure.
The first step is to create logical groups, and then thinking about the pain. What are they trying to achieve? What problem are they trying to solve? Things of that nature. Then creating simple names for each one of those. And then the last one is to develop content that is pointed specifically at those different people. So let's take the first one then, creating logical groups. Tell us a little bit more about how you do that step.
Sure, I'll use a simple example. In the technology that we use a platform for building websites called Business Catalyst. We've had multiple interactions with Adobe, and we understand as a corporate culture, they very much care about the end user. So just a simple example, this piece of software is used to build and manage websites. But 3 particular personas that they've identified are, one is the designer, the person who has to design a website. The second one is the developer who has to program the website. And the third person is the business owner, the person who has to manage the website once the website has been built.
Sure.
So notice how the train of thought, the pains, and the different personality types and the experience of those people, they all have to use this software to some extent, but how they use it is different. So that is a very simple way to showcase an example of how to break down these logical things into people.
Sure, that makes sense. So that's the creating the logical groups part. Let's talk about the next step of thinking about the pain. What can you tell me about that step?
So every single person that interacts with your services or your products, they have different pain points, meaning you are solving an issue for them that if they went somewhere else or they didn't have access to your particular widgets or your services, they'd feel pain. They'd be like, I don't like this, or this is challenging, or I can't accomplish this task. Therefore, these tools that you're providing to me, or these steps, or this customer service, this makes my life easier.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, that's why I'm okay with paying you for that particular item. That's what pain points kind of refer to. And once we, like I said, once we start breaking down those logical groups, just for the example that I provided to you, a designer has different challenges than a developer. A developer has different challenges than a business owner. So if you understand how those pain points are different, you can really start pinpointing your marketing around those terms rather than just throwing a blanket across everything. Yes. And then people go, well, those pain points don't apply to me. They're not really talking to me.
And I actually see a couple of different ways to develop those pain points. One is just purely using our imagination and logic and having conversations that then lead to aha moments within your company as you develop the pain points. But then I see another way, and that is by through customer surveys, and as your customer service people are on the phone and you have places where you can make notes, then those things can be fed back to the marketing team. Wow, well, here's a pain point that Sally has. We really never thought about that. Let's add that pain point to the persona and stay aware of that, and then that'll help us as we move forward with our product development and marketing messages.
Exactly.
So then there's the third point, and that's the creating the names. Now, how hard is that?
It's not very hard at all. It's the reason that you create the name is just so you can have it in a casual conversation and you don't forget and you start referring to a particular person. Mm-hmm. If there's any kind of challenges, maybe it's the name might be associated with a particular age range.
Okay.
Or the name might be male or female. But other than that, really you can use any name that you want. Sometimes in our company, we've labeled certain people because we have a customer that's a true representation of a particular group. And it's very easy to remember that person, so we just pick his name. Yeah. We don't let that person know.
Right. But or the names are changed to protect. To protect.
You got it. But it's just for basic memorability is all.
That's great. And then there was the last step, and that was to make sure that you're developing content that harmonizes with each of those different people.
Sure. So, I kind of mentioned this before, rather than just a blanket statement or like a shotgun approach, imagine organizing a website, right? Mm-hmm. You can have, here's our services, and you can just dump a whole bunch of content into one page that talks about, here's all the services that we offer. You can even think about organizing, well, we have 5 services that we offer, therefore we're going to create 5 landing pages for each one of those service components. Right. But you can take it one step further and you can say, well, we have 3 main personas that we have to make happy. Why don't we create one landing page for each of them, and we can identify them as a particular group. So if you can identify that you have these challenges, these pains, we have services that match up directly to you because we understand you at this very intimate level. So it's not just producing content, it's organizing it in a specific way so that when those particular candidates or customers or prospects come to you, they're going to go, oh my God, these guys really get it.
Yeah.
All the pain points that I'm having, they're listed right here. They're talking to me and I'm more willing to buy.
And I would think that certainly influences the images that you use on your website as you're wanting to communicate with different people. I was giving a presentation a few weeks ago and highlighting some of these aspects and talking about the fact that in the world of motorcycle riders, you've got people that are dramatically different from each other. So you have maybe a young couple who's very clean cut and they ride a little bit on the weekend, and then you've got hardcore bikers that that look a whole lot different, and their lifestyle is different, their interests are different, and so those two people they both like motorcycles, but their experience with the motorcycle, what they want out of the motorcycle, and the related lifestyle, 2 vastly different things. So you need to create different personas so that you can reach effectively those different people.
That is totally accurate. And you can take it, like you said, as deep as you want. These people are going to spend a lot more, way more frequently, on the stuff that's way more expensive because of that's their lifestyle. Right. These people are going to spend way far less, and they're going to use the motorcycles a lot less, and they're going to have these particular traits. So maybe the services that you offer them, how you talk to them, the levels at which you talk to them, this is what these profiles are meant to do. They're meant for you to go, time out. We got to speak to these people differently because that's how we're going to get more engagement out of them.
Super. Cesar, that's so helpful. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool.